Okay, let's jump right into a question that is frankly shaking up the entire world of writing. When AI can draft our texts, when it can shape our arguments, what does it even mean to be an author anymore?
Right? Who's the author? Sounds simple, but you know what? The answer has suddenly become incredibly complex. And getting this right, it's a huge ethical and practical challenge for pretty much everyone. Academics, publishers, you name it.
For centuries, this was a no-brainer. If your name was on the cover, you were the one who came up with the ideas, you wrote the words, and you stood by them. It was a simple, clear deal of intellectual ownership. But now, that clear line is getting really blurry. Because generative AI isn't just a fancy spell checker anymore. We're talking about systems that can generate whole drafts, completely restructure complex arguments. It's just fundamentally changing the game between what's human creation and what's machine help.
So, how in the world do we even begin to think about this? Well, believe it or not, an ancient Greek thought experiment gives us the perfect way to frame it. We're going to talk about the Ship of Theseus.
Okay, so here's the classic puzzle. Imagine the legendary ship of the hero Theseus. It's sitting in a harbor, a museum piece. But over time, the wooden planks start to rot. So they get replaced, one by one. And this goes on until eventually not a single one of the original planks is left. The big question is it still the Ship of Theseus?
Let's just break that down. You start with the original, famous ship. Then, piece by piece, plank by plank, everything gets swapped out. So logically, it's made of completely new stuff, but it's in the same spot. It has the same name. So what is the ship? Is it the wood? Is it the idea? That's the paradox.
And this is where it gets interesting, because this ancient puzzle maps perfectly onto the problem authors are facing right now. Just think of the ship's planks as the sentences, the paragraphs, the arguments in a paper. And the new planks? Yep, that's the stuff the AI generates.
And you can see here just how fundamental this shift is. What we used to call conception, having the big idea, is now prompting. What used to be expression, writing it down, is now integrating what the AI gives you. And that big one, responsibility, well, that turns into this really fuzzy question of accountability. I mean, at what point are you not the author, but just the editor for a machine?
So you see, the really crucial point here isn't how many words the AI wrote. It's not about a percentage. The real questions are about what kind of planks are being replaced. Is it a simple grammar fix, or is it the entire core argument of the piece? And who is doing the replacing? Is it a human you're collaborating with, or is it an AI system? Now you might be thinking, surely there are rules for this already, right, in academia? And well, yes, but they were all built for a world of human authors. They just weren't designed to deal with something non-human that can actually construct meaning all by itself.
And that's the problem. The policies we have today, they're full of holes. The big ethical groups like COPE, they tell researchers, hey, you can't list an AI as an author, which makes sense, right? A machine can't take responsibility. But then they offer almost zero guidance on what you should do when the AI's contribution is huge. So researchers are basically stuck.
Look, being anxious about new tech is nothing new. I mean, think about it. The printing press, textile machines, even calculators in classrooms. People have always worried. But AI, this feels different. It's not just a tool that makes a task faster. It's getting involved in the actual creation of meaning. And that's a whole different level. Okay, so if the old maps are useless, we're going to need a new compass. And there's a framework being proposed that could be exactly that. It helps us navigate this whole mess by looking at three key things: contribution, control, and accountability. This triad, as it's called, is actually pretty practical. First, you look at the type of contribution. Was it just a minor polish or a total rewrite? Second, who was the agent, a human partner or an AI? And third, and this is the big one, what was the degree of human control? Who was really in the driver's seat, making the final calls and accepting responsibility?
So this brings us to what we actually do about it. How do we put this framework into practice so that research and writing stay transparent and trustworthy? The answer is simple, really. The human author has to stay the captain of the ship. Period.
And that leads to some really concrete ideas for policies, like implementing graduated disclosure. Basically, you disclose AI use based on how much you used it. We could even invent new job titles for contributor roles, like a prompt architect. How cool is that? And maybe we just need a standard AI methods section in papers, so it's all out in the open, just like any other tool.
And let's be super clear. The whole point here is transparency. This isn't about giving AI a co-author credit or letting the human author off the hook. Not at all. The ultimate responsibility, where the buck stops, has to always be with a person.
And this quote just nails it, bringing us full circle. The author is still the captain. They're responsible for the whole voyage, for the integrity of their ship, even if some of those planks happen to be machine-made. The accountability stays human.
So we kind of end up back where we started, but with a totally new way of looking at the problem. The Ship of Theseus paradox, it doesn't give us a neat, easy answer. But you know what it does? It gives us the right questions to ask. And as we keep replacing the planks of authorship with AI, the real challenge for every single one of us is to figure out what part of that ship, what part of human creativity and responsibility is the one thing that we can never, ever replace.